Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift We have the 3/11/2019 edition of Monday Night Raw to discuss. The road to WrestleMania is now clear. We have several matches that have been either confirmed or there's a clear direction for those matches. How's it going to everyone out there watching live? I appreciate your viewership, whether it's live or on demand. Let's go ahead and get to the show. We kicked off Raw with the Shield coming off their victory at the Fastlane pay-per-view. The Shield came out and this was their farewell. This was the end of the Shield. The announcers made a big deal about how this was going to be the last time we would ever see the Shield together. Roman Reigns got on the mic, said that life is short, but he had no regrets because he got to come back and be in the ring with his brothers. And then we had Reigns talking about how he wants a singles match on Raw since he had the tag match at Fastlane, but he hasn't actually been in a one-on-one match since coming back. Then he talked about how Dean Ambrose has whatever business Dean Ambrose has. And then, of course, Seth Rollins has his match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And, of course, that led to the Slay the Beast chants. Roman and Dean took their leave. Rollins got on the mic, but then he was quickly interrupted by Paul Heyman. Steven with a $2 super chat, first one of the night. Thank you for that, Steven. They know damn well the Shield is not over. Well, I would disagree with that comment about the Shield not being over. I think they're pretty damn over, considering the crowds chanting Shield, buying all the merchandise. I would say they're pretty over. But thank you nonetheless for that super chat. I do appreciate it. We had Paul Heyman come out, and yeah, he said the usual stuff. My name is Paul Heyman, blah, 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 blah. Heyman showed a video package of Brock Lesnar's destruction. Seth Rollins brought up how, yes, it's true. And this is really silly. Rollins brought up how Lesnar destroyed Goldberg, yet when it came to the smaller guys like him, Brock barely won. Guys like AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, all the guys that are similar in style to Seth, all of them came really close. But Brock, he destroyed the big guy, Goldberg. So I guess we're pretty much supposed to just forget that Goldberg beat Brock Lesnar in like 60 seconds at Survivor Series. Really? Hashtag WWE logic for you, but there you go. Anyways, I guess if you forgot about all that, or you just check your brain at the door, then you're fine with this. Josh Mansfield, if you would like to call in after this review, I'll get you on to get your thoughts on Fastlane. We can do that. But moving on here, we had Shelton Benjamin jump Seth Rollins from behind, and Paul Heyman on commentary talked about how Shelton Benjamin helped coach Brock Lesnar and all that stuff because they go back to OVW. And I also forgot to mention that Heyman brought up that unlike the other guys that Lesnar faced, Lesnar will be prepared for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Anyways, we had Shelton Benjamin, who last time I checked was part of the SmackDown roster, but we all know how seriously WWE takes the brand extension at this point. Seth Rollins picked up the victory with a curb stomp. This was about the first 30 minutes or so of Raw. And then we had Finn Balor come out for his match with Bobby Lashley for the Intercontinental title. And Finn Balor was going up top to the drop zone or whatever they call it when Lio Rush, started ringing the bell, and Finn Balor, like the stupid baby face that he is, falls right for it. Why do these baby faces act so stupid? If the heel's out there, just ignore them. Just don't look. You got to think to that Simpsons episode. Just don't look. Just don't look. But he looks like an idiot. And then, of course, he goes up for the springboard dive, and Bobby Lashley spears him in midair, pins him, and becomes the new Intercontinental Champion. So, yeah. And if Lio Rush interferes physically, then it's a DQ. The match is over. Why do you chase the guy? Why do you acknowledge the guy? It just bugs me so much. The baby faces look like complete idiots when they do this, and Finn Balor's no exception here. So yeah, IC title, hot potatoed, whatever. Bobby Lashley's the champion again. I really don't care. I did not care about the match to begin with, and I don't know what this means for WrestleMania. I guess they do one more match, maybe a multi-person match. Maybe it's on the kickoff. I don't know. I don't care. Whatever. We had Baron Corbin backstage, and a recap was shown of the things, the mean things that Corbin said about Mr. Roman Reigns. Corbin said that Reigns dropped the ball and he picked it up, and he's going to fight Roman Reigns on tonight's Raw and teach him a lesson or something along those lines. We had the Ronda Rousey footage shown from Fastlane where she came out and helped Becky win the match. So Ronda came out for her big heel promo. She started talking really fast, as only she can. She said you could take your applause and shove it. She called the fans a bunch of bandwagon bitches, and she said that they deserve Becky Lynch because they're all a joke. She said she's going to embarrass both Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. She called them carny con artists, and then said she could beat both of them in a handicap match. This is when Dana Brooke came out. Dana came out, said she has nothing left to lose. She's not going to allow Ronda Rousey to disrespect the women's locker room. She said she loves this business and has worked her tail off. Every day she fights for an opportunity just to be on television. And she knows that Ronda does the open match challenge. So she was there. She accepted Ronda's open challenge. And then Ronda responded with a brutal kick and then beat the crap out of her. And then she was gonna put Dana in the armbar, but then stopped and said to the camera, "You're gonna have to pay $60 if you want to see the armbar." So apparently, Ronda did not get the memo that you don't really pay $60 for pay-per-views anymore. I know there's a small percentage of people out there that do for the WWE events, but newsflash, Ronda, this is not the UFC. You can watch it on the WWE Network for just $9.99, or better yet, if you're a new subscriber, you get WrestleMania for free. So yeah, the $60 line really did not work here. If she said $9.99 for the armbar, that would have made a little bit more sense. Next up, we had Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Not much to say about it. Roode and Gable, basically just enhancement guys at this point. Aleister picked up the victory over Roode with the fade to black. Then we had the Moment of Bliss segment. Sparkstar Mass 89 with a $2 super chat says, been a fan since 2007, back with good old JM, WWE thumbs down. Well, thank you for that, Sparkstar. Man, we're getting a lot of spam tonight. I guess that means I'm in the big time, baby. It's the spam for some kind of malware or something, trying to get people to click on some link. Renzo says, I will pay $60 for Ronda Rousey to speak clearly on the mic for her promos. Ouch. Savage comment of the night so far. So we had the Moment of Bliss. she mentioned all the previous hosts. The whole point of this segment was to announce the special host for WrestleMania. She brought up The Rock. She brought up the New Day. But she said that none of them are as electrifying as the host for this year's WrestleMania. Of course, video package rolled, and what do you know? It was herself. So that's right. Alexa Bliss will be hosting WrestleMania 35. I thought she was not injured. I thought she debunked that rumor. But regardless of the case, she's hosting WrestleMania instead of competing. But she's not injured, according to her. Whatever. I mean, to me, it is what it is. It's just a way for her to get on the show and nothing more. Well, there was a report that Alexa Bliss was injured, but she publicly denied that she was hurt. All right, moving on here, we had, oh boy. We had a recap of Braun Strowman and that white guy from Saturday Night Live. And then Strowman was being interviewed about it when somebody came up to Strowman and said a car arrived. And Strowman was like, what car? He went to the backstage area. There was a nice little red car with a bow on it. And there was a note that was basically an apology, but also joking around more about Strowman. So Strowman proceeded to respond to this by doing what Braun Strowman does. He destroyed the car. He ripped it off. He ripped off the door. He ripped off the seats. He tipped it over. Funny enough, literally 5 minutes later, not even 5 minutes later, WWE tweeted out this brand new car. There's this action figure with the same red car that Braun Strowman is tipping over. Now, people filled me in that this was actually released about 2 months ago. It's already been in the stores. So WWE made this car and then decided to do a skit where Strowman destroys it. Okay. The whole thing was completely idiotic. I mean, poor Braun Strowman. So he has gone last year. I mean, how could you make things even more ridiculous than last year? Last year, he had a match with Nicholas, and now this year, he's feuding with guys from Saturday Night Live for WrestleMania. That's going to be Strowman's big segment right now. Apparently, he did not tip over the car. I'm just imagining things at this point. So yeah, Strowman, what's he going to do to the Saturday Night Live guys at WrestleMania? That's the big hook for Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. Next up, we had Elias do his usual song. He said that the people in Pittsburgh are holding the great people back, and then he made a reference to some sports guy. I don't know who it is. I guess he's some Pittsburgh guy that left to another team. You know, the usual stuff he does every week. And I guess unless you're a sports fan, it's going to be over your head. But apparently everyone watches sports, so this stuff always works. His name is Antonio Brown. I've never heard of the guy. But then again, I barely know who Michael Jordan is. We had No Way Jose come out, and he just got beat up by Elias. No Way Jose had some new hair. Not much else to say about it. We had a video package for Harlem Heat. Harlem Heat will now be going into the Hall of Fame, which means Booker T is now a two-time WWE Hall of Famer. And the reason I said 2 times, 3 times is because that's what DDP did back in the day. We had Lacey Evans walk to the ring, walk back, her usual routine. She had a little stare down, though, with Nia and Tamina, and Nia was just, like, brushing her off. Then we had Natalya come out on the mic and said that she used to trust Ronda. She doesn't trust Nia and Tamina. There's only one person she can trust, her best friend. She brought out Beth Phoenix. They got in the ring. We were supposed to have a match, but it quickly turned into a brawl. Beth Phoenix got in there, cleaned house, and that was that. And then backstage, Nia Jax and Tamina got attacked by Sasha and Bayley. So looking like a triple threat now for WrestleMania. I would presume that this is the direction for WrestleMania based off of what happened here. Next up, we had the Triple H Batista confrontation segment. We had Triple H come to the ring first. Batista came out with his, I guess, Hollywood security guards. Triple H said, are you just going to stand there like a nose ring model, or are you actually going to get in the ring and fight? Batista said the security is there because he's not stupid. He knows Triple H has his sledgehammer somewhere, and he's going to do things on his own terms. Triple H responded by saying he is not going to do a damn thing. Time out for a second. Tony H with the $2 super chat says, give me what I want, Aaron. I will get to that here in a second. So wait a minute. I could have sworn, correct me if I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm already delusional and forgetting about last week. Last week on Raw, didn't Triple H say whatever Batista wanted he could have? Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I could have sworn that Triple H last week said, whatever you want, Batista, you got it. We'll do whatever you want. I could have sworn he said that. Now Triple H is going back saying he's not going to do a damn thing. Gary says you are correct, my friend. So Triple H says he's not going to do a damn thing, even though last week he said he would give Batista whatever he wanted. They started arguing back and forth. Triple H said that Batista's like a typical movie star demanding everything. And then he said he just wants to tear through the Guardians of the Independent scene. That's the inside joke because the security guards are usually independent wrestlers. But of course, 95% of you would not get that reference. Well, maybe more of you would at this point. I don't know. Maybe 95% of the casual viewers would not get it. Batista said if he doesn't get what he wants, he's going to keep hurting the people that he loved, that Triple H loved, I should say. And then he kept repeating, give me what I want. And he kept spitting while saying this, give me what I want. Triple H finally gave in and said, you know what? You're on. You're on for WrestleMania. One last match. Batista said that's all he wanted. He wants to end his career on his own terms, and then he wants to end Triple H's career on his terms. Triple H said, bring everything you have, no rules. It's going to be a no-holds-barred match at WrestleMania, and that was the segment. So I thought it was pretty crappy, quite frankly. I was really disappointed. I thought Batista's performance could have been better. The whole thing was quite lackluster, especially when the previous week Triple H said Batista could have whatever he wants, and then they spend 5 to 10 minutes arguing about it. Yeah, the writing here. How do these guys... I don't get it. Like Triple H, Batista, wouldn't they like look over the script here and say, you know what, this is stupid. Let's throw this away. Let's come up with something that's just improvise here. Like, I don't understand how this got approved. Triple H, Vince, Batista, these are all geniuses, right? Like, how did they approve this promo? And again, to all you people out there saying I was too quick to judge, here we go. We got the match set up for WrestleMania, and I'm still not looking forward to it. I still think it's been lackluster. So there you go. I gave it a chance, damn it. TK with a $2 super chat says, I have the same nose ring. Do I get what I want? Well, that depends on kayfabe. Will he give you what you want? You got to ask him. All right, so enough of that. I've said my piece on it. Triple H, Batista, WrestleMania. No holds barred. They'll probably hug and do all the making up after the match, the usual crap that they do. So next up we had a Kurt Angle promo. And Kurt Angle said that his farewell match will take place at WrestleMania 35. And then he said that since he's in Pittsburgh, his hometown, why not have one final match there? This led to Apollo Crews coming out. Kurt Angle beat Apollo Crews, and then after the match, they hugged. Angle won with the Angle Slam. Not much else to say about it. So looks like we got 2 retirement matches now at WrestleMania. Talk about overkill now. It's allegedly going to be Batista's last match, and now it's going to be Kurt Angle's last match. Jay Tintone with a $2 super chat donation says, Samoa Joe versus Mike Hunt versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. Wow, there's a name from UFC, right? Mike Hunt? Or are you just making that up? I don't know. You just wanted me to say that. Isn't it Mark Hunt? I think it's Mark Hunt is the guy, unless you purposely just said that for me to say that, which you might have done. So good for you if that was your intentions. Everyone's getting a laugh out of that. All right. Next up, we had Roman Reigns come out for the main event with Baron Corbin, but instead there was no Baron Corbin. Drew McIntyre attacked Roman Reigns, gave him a Claymore kick, and then gave him a second one into the ring post, and then yelled out, "This is just the beginning." So I guess it looks like we got our WrestleMania match here. We have Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre for WrestleMania. The officials, the referees, the medical staff checked on Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins came out. And then backstage, Seth took Roman into the trainer's room. Dean Ambrose was all pissed off. So he demanded to Triple H a no DQ match with Drew McIntyre. McIntyre came out, got on the mic and said that will Dean take the beating like a man, unlike Reigns. They had a crazy brawl. They fought in the stands. They fought in the concession area. They were throwing tables around, throwing food around, merchandise, you name it. They came back down. They were fighting on the floor. And then they started fighting by the announce table. And then there's a funny moment here because Dean Ambrose went to suplex Dean, but Dean looked behind him and moved all the stuff away from the table before taking the suplex. Come on. I mean, that was just so blatantly obvious what he was doing there. Way to kill the suspension of disbelief, Drew. But anyways, they continued fighting, and then Drew grabbed a pencil and stuck it in Dean's eye, I think, or in his face or something. Might have been the eye. Oh, Noah said I botched. I meant Dean suplex Drew. Sorry about that. So yeah, pencil to the eye. This was actually pretty cool. I did like this. And then we had Drew throw Dean into the stage a couple of times. And then we had Dean get all caught up in one of these handrails on the side. And then Drew hit the Claymore onto Dean while he was stuck in the handrail. I thought that this was a pretty cool spot, a nice finish for the match. Drew McIntyre picked up the win, and then afterwards he gave Ambrose one more Claymore kick for good measure, and that was the match. So good match to end Raw. I thought that the match was really solid. Now, what does this mean for Dean Ambrose? I mean, is he really gone? I mean, that's the question now. Was this WWE's official writing off of Dean Ambrose from storylines? I guess, as they say, only time will tell. But it does look like we have a clearer direction for WrestleMania. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Possibly a triple threat for the women's tag team titles with Beth Phoenix being involved. Triple H versus Batista, no holds barred now official. I don't know if Dean Ambrose is going to have a final match or if that's it for him. So let's do the letter grade for Raw. I thought it was all right, but not by any means a great show. I'm going to give it a C+. C+ for this week's Raw. It was all right. Nothing that really stood out to me as great. I did like the main event, which probably brought it up a little bit. I think I would have gone C-. Caitlyn gives it a C-. Noah Foster gives it a C-. A D from Daniel, Zachary with a C, Elijah with a C, Offman Rules with a C, Ma Wrestling with a C, TK with a B minus, Mike B with a C, Gary with a C, a lot of C's for Raw. So mixed bag for this week's show. Josh, if you would like to call in and give your thoughts on Fastlane, I have Skype open. I'll give you a few minutes here if you would like to call in and give me your thoughts. Josh Mansfield, who was part of our predictions panel, he was there in Cleveland for the show, but he didn't have the opportunity to call last night. So I wanted to give him a chance to call in and give his thoughts on the show. If I don't hear from him in the next minute or so, maybe we'll get him on for tomorrow night. Okay, it says we're live now, so I apologize for the technical issues. Hopefully everything's back to normal now. I'm not sure what was going on. Little issues with the call, but it looks like we're all set up here. No, it wasn't a caller ID thing. It was my end. Uh-oh, we got an echo now. I'm not sure what was now.
Yeah, sorry, the echo was my fault.
That's okay. Okay, we're good now. Okay, so Josh, you were there in person in Cleveland for the pay-per-view. So what were your thoughts? What did you like about the show? What did you not like about the show?
So the arena itself was actually pretty full, except for the picture I sent you. Besides that, most seats were filled, from what I could tell. I was up pretty high, up towards the top. The crowd, I know, they were enjoying most of the matches. Some of them they were a little quiet for. The opening, the kickoff match, they were cheering the New Day pretty loud. We were excited with, the Kofi stuff. I personally didn't hear any "this is boring" chants during the handicap match with Kofi versus the Bar. I didn't hear them. I think the crowd was most excited for either the Raw Tag Titles or the SmackDown Tag Titles match. I know we were chanting "Miz is awesome." Some of us were chanting "Mrs. Cleveland." So that was pretty intense. Then during, because we didn't see the backstage segment with R-Truth during the kickoff match. We did not see that. So we just saw the pop-up, afterwards saying, "Oh, it's a fatal four-way now." Like, oh, okay. Because that's the thing a lot of times, like, stuff the people see, the live crowd does not see, and vice versa. So, especially I know during the triple threat WWE title match, we didn't know if maybe the people at home had seen something that we didn't.
Right.
So, yes, the entire match, we were chanting for Kofi. We want Kofi and everything. The entire match, not just at the beginning. We were chanting it all throughout, and the crowd was audibly silent except for when they did some of the big spots.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Which, I understand, especially being part of the live crowd when you hear, "Hey, Kofi's going to be in the match," and then all of a sudden we don't know what's happening.
Good point.
But what does WWE expect?
Yeah, that's a really valid point. When you bait and switch the live crowd, that's what got them all worked up in the first place. I just feel bad for Mustafa Ali for being put in that position,
Yeah. I'll admit, I was one of the ones booing because I was not happy. It was just stupid how they did it. Hopefully tomorrow night it'll be announced one-on-one. Sorry, Virtue, but that's probably what's going to end up being now, thankfully.
Right.
And the Shield match, I was surprised how quiet they were during the Shield match and the Charlotte-Becky match, to be honest. The crowd was actually chanting "Thank you, Ronda," after Ronda came in and got Charlotte disqualified.
Interesting.
Yeah, we were chanting "Thank you, Ronda."
Real quick,
for that.
Colin Mack just left a $2 super chat. Says, "Shout out to Mr. Rift." Thank you for that, Colin.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Like, the feeling of a pay-per-view is surreal. It's so much different from a TV show or a live event. I've only been to one TV show in Cleveland the night after the Rumble 2014 when CM Punk left the company. and that was surreal. But being at Fastlane was just another feeling entirely. So I would have to say match of the night was the SmackDown Tag Title match.
Interesting.
And the turn afterwards, Shane got big heat. Like everyone there was wearing Miz's new Cleveland shirt. They were selling out, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I was able to get one. Thankfully, I got 3 new shirts of Roman, Miz, and a New Day shirt. Because they were selling out of the Miz and Roman ones, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, nice. Marco Martinez left a $5 super chat saying, Ronda's storyline is stupid, big logic holes, wrestling is fake, but I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania makes 0 sense. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that people have been arguing and debating about this past week or so. Also, there was a question for you in here. Ryan wants to know from you, did you think that Aleister Black got a really big pop?
I think he did. I mean, it's interesting being there and seeing the ring crew set up his entrance. That's one of the interesting parts, is seeing like everyone come in and out, like Elias and everything, and like just seeing how that's all set up, I think is really neat. I think he got a pretty big entrance. I think not as big as Kofi, or maybe just as big as Kofi. Because I'm pretty sure Kofi, The Shield, and Aleister Black and The Miz probably got the 4 biggest pops of the night for their entrances.
Well, nice. It sounds like you had a great time at the show. And I did enjoy the pay-per-view. I think I gave it a B-, which is, not bad. I did think it was a solid show, and I'm sure being there live was a positive experience. Anything else you would like to add about the show, or anything you would like to plug or promote?
Just that if you ever have a chance to go see a pay-per-view live, do it. It doesn't matter where you really sit. Being that Quicken Loans has giant screens, everything was still really visible, and it was still awesome. After, when we were leaving, we were actually by where we parked is where the Superstars, like we were across the street from where the Superstars parked. So the Superstars were coming out in their cars, and R-Truth actually got out of his car and was greeting some of the fans.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and so then Daniel Bryan drove by, and then we actually passed by Randy Orton's tour bus on the way back here. So it was pretty good. So for plugs, if you ever want to hear wrestling from a college perspective, please go to my YouTube page, Joshamania. Myself and my friend Tyler Talley, who was with me last night, we do videos on there every week. Follow us on Facebook, Joshamania, Twitter, Joshamania 2019, Virtue, and TJS. Follow us. I think you do, Aaron. I'm not sure. I know Caitlin does. But, if you want to hear it from a college perspective, or a college student's perspective, go like and subscribe. I know some people were not a fan of my voice last week on the Fastlane predictions video. I don't like it either, guys, but, it is what it is. But thank you again, Aaron, for having me on last week. It was a blast, and so was Fastlane.
Yeah, well, your voice is fine. I mean, don't let the people troll you. They're just going to say whatever they want. But, thank you so much for coming on here and giving your thoughts. I really do appreciate it. And have a great night. I'm glad you enjoyed the shows, and hope to see you possibly for SummerSlam.
We'll see if that happens. I'm saving up my money for WrestleMania next year.
Well, in my humble opinion, you should go to SummerSlam so you can meet up with everybody, because that's going to be the big NoDQ meetup in Toronto.
Yeah, got to meet Noah Foster. Virtue,
yeah,
unfortunately couldn't make it, so.
Well, there you go. You got spared. All right, man. Have a great night. Take care, my friend.
Thanks. You too, Aaron.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Josh Mansfield calling in with his thoughts on the show. And Aaron Joel gave a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Aaron. He says, why do superstars talk about their issues online? Why do superstars talk about their issues online? I feel like it's just to promote their brand more than anything else. WWE says to go on social media and, do the storylines and get people talking and take advantage of the social media platforms. So that's what people do. Virtue says Josh would have fainted in my presence. Virtue says Josh would have fainted in my presence. Yeah, maybe if he smelled you. Ha ha ha. Just kidding there, Virtue. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Samir, if you're going to be in Toronto for SummerSlam, check out the event page. It's on Facebook. You got to search NoDQ SummerSlam. I still haven't made the URL yet, which I will do very shortly. It'll be nodq.com/Toronto, but that's not live yet. That will be very shortly. And I'll be plugging it like a million times between now and then. So have a great night, everyone. I will be back tomorrow night. Please spread the word.